Hello, everyone. My name is Professor John Aubert, and I want to welcome you to Geography 300 lecture, fully online at American River College for summer 2025. Couple of quick things. This class is fully asynchronous, which means we don't have any required meetings over Zoom, although I may offer some opportunities to catch up and connect on Zoom. And also, this class is only 4 weeks, which means as a normal 3-unit class, which would meet during a regular semester for 16 weeks, this is 4 times faster. That means when we do the math, you should roughly be able to use and apply 40 hours per week to this class. So maybe it'll take you less, but I just want you to know this class, it goes 4 times faster. So in the summer session for 4 weeks, this is like being a full-time student, even if you're taking only one class. So I just want to stress that. Well, what I really want to do, hopefully we'll be here no more than 30 minutes, is I want to give you a quick orientation to how this class is going to work. Again, it's fully online. Everything is offered here on Canvas. So hopefully you can get this far to our Canvas class. And you have clicked here where it says start here, and you are partway through this orientation and checklist. So one of the things I want you to know about me is I love teaching, and whether it's online or face-to-face, I really want you to also love learning, and I want you to find this class interesting, and I want you to reach out if you're ever having difficulty. I want everybody to get through. I'm not trying to weed people out. I'm not trying to make this unduly difficult, but I want you to have a quality learning experience. So one of the first things I'm going to say is that everything in this class on Canvas can be found in modules over here in the left-hand navigation. I'm hoping you're not trying to take this entire class on a teeny tiny phone screen because there's a lot of visuals, there's a lot of information to get. I'll just quickly say if you go to modules, what you find is all of these essentially folders for those of you who have used Canvas before, and I try to put the stuff that is due in any particular day near the top, and then as it goes past due, I move it farther down. So I'll come back to modules in a minute. I would also like you to notice some of the other things here is there are discussions, there are quizzes for this class, but I do not enable the links to go straight to the discussions or straight to the quizzes or straight to the assignments because I don't want you to go straight there. I want you to go to modules because these assignments are embedded within the modules, and there's other materials in those modules that I want you to see. That's partly, that's how the class works. So I have newly for this semester, I've never used this feature, this thing called the syllabus. Now I will show you our regular class syllabus. In fact, here it is right here, and we'll briefly go through it. But the one thing that I want to mention is that this syllabus just summarizes all of the due dates, and mostly it will show you what's due in order day to day to day. This is not a class, by the way, where you can do everything up for the weekend. I'm just letting you know if that is your goal, you probably want to take a different class some other time. This class has something due nearly every day during the week, and then it gives you a large chunk of time starting Friday and through the weekend to take exams and maybe to catch up on stuff that you weren't able to do. But this class is not intended for you to just put everything to the end of the week. So I just want you to know that. There is, having said that, a pretty generous late policy because I just want you to get through. And I know everybody has lives. Yeah, please notice I don't have regular office hours, but down here at the bottom of the page, it mentions you can arrange to try to get hold of me. We can meet over Zoom. We can talk on the phone. If you want to check in about something, it's really a good skill to learn how to network and to connect with your professors. There's a lot that you can learn, and there's, you don't have to go through being confused by something or worrying that you're not getting everything. So keep that in mind. Also, if you want to know more about me, you can click on this Meet Your Instructor, but the class is really about you and about your learning. Now, one thing is during the course of this in an orientation video, I'm going to give you a 5-letter code, all capitals, and you need to write it down. And I'm going to give you one letter at a time. So your first letter is K, as in kangaroo, K, as in king, the letter K. Okay, so write that down. And let me say what I'm going to do is you have links in a number of different spots, and I should have already emailed you links to the syllabus for this class. And here it is right here. As I said, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you should read the entire thing. This is essentially a contract between you and me for how the class is going to go. I can show you a little more about each of these individual things, but please read this. The best way to get a hold of me is by email. I try to get back within 24 hours, if not sooner. I don't really prefer you use this voicemail, but you could if you really insisted on it. How should you be prepared? I do expect you to be functional in some very basic math and English, but I'm going to do my best to get everybody through the class. What is required? There's information about a textbook here. There's also a module with tons of textbook information. You can have a recent edition of the textbook, Elemental Geosystems. It's not the one called Geosystems, it's the one called Elemental Geosystems. Maybe it's electronic, maybe it's hardback, maybe it's softback, maybe it's the most recent edition, which is the 9th, or maybe it's an older edition. I really don't care. Maybe it's used, maybe it's new. I would like you to have a textbook, but I'm not going to be checking up on anybody. You have to use Canvas. You have to get your Gmail. You should have access to Google Drive. And again, you should be using, again, I'm just summarizing this. You should be using a reasonable desktop or laptop or maybe tablet to take this class and not just a phone. You are expected to learn some things. Here is a formal statement of what you're expected to learn right here. If you put in the effort, you're not just going to learn it by standing there and soaking it in from the atmosphere. Here are all of the points for this class. This is a 500-point class, 500 points, which means I run this class by a straight scale. So if you're concerned about your grade, which I'm hoping you're going to be concerned from day one, right from the beginning, then 450 points is 90% of 500, and that's an A. I can't take that away from you. That's an A, 450 points. Now, there's an exception. I'll get to it in a second. 400 points or better. That's a B, 80%. 350, that's my landmark for everybody. I want everybody to at least get to 350, 70%. I want to pass you. But let me tell you, there's this critical warning here. I've tried to mention it in a number of different places. You also have to complete all homeworks. And that includes if you get a 0 for any reason, you skipped it, or maybe I had a question about it. I was concerned that you used AI when you weren't allowed to. If you take a 0 on a homework, that's the same as not doing a homework. There's 4 homeworks. I'll show you where they are, basically 1 per week. And you have to do all of them if you want your A. So if you do earn 450 or better and skip a homework, I'm giving you a B. And that's just because I refuse to give somebody the best grade possible in my class and have them just blow off one of the important homeworks for this class. So hopefully you'll understand that. And then there's a lot more information, grade, notification, participation. I fully expect you to be engaged. If I see that you haven't logged on in a few days, I'll get very concerned. I reserve the right to drop you, although I don't want to do that. But if you're not going to take the course, you should just drop yourself. There is a little bit of extra credit. Some of these things are automatic. Some of these things you have to do. These weekly check-in quizzes are one of the big things that you have to do. So there are exams. There's more information about that in the modules. If you miss an exam, you need to let me know right away because the exam closes and I will not open it back up unless I have a discussion with a person and they give me a solid reason. I want you to know I take that very seriously. Those little quizzes, maybe they're 5 points, that's one thing, but a 50-point exam for me is a big deal. I don't want you to just blow that off and then wait for me to talk with you. That's not really being an ethical professional student in my class. So quizzes, there are 20 of these, basically one per day for the next 4 weeks, roughly. Sometimes I double up. And those quizzes are within a module. I will show you the modules where every quiz is followed by a discussion. Now, the quizzes I let you take multiple times. I actually don't put a due date until the very end of class when class is totally over and done. The quizzes, you will see new questions every time you take the quizzes, which is a benefit to you. It'll recycle new questions, it'll recycle old questions, and it's a great practice strategy for you to do well on the exams and for you to learn in my class. But each quiz, you have to get at least 4 out of 5 points or better to open the discussion that follows each individual quiz. So there's quiz, discussion, quiz, discussion, quiz, discussion. People all the time are wondering, why can't I get to the discussion? And one way or another, it goes back to the fact that you probably didn't take the quiz or you didn't earn high enough on the quiz. So I set Canvas to keep the highest quiz score. You should take them many, many, many times, but it will keep the highest score. And you have to get at least 80%, 4 out of 5 points or better for it to open up the discussion that follows. The discussions, I have tried to explain myself at great length. The discussions are not for you to tell me what you learned. The discussions are your reaction to what you've experienced in my lecture notes and my lecture videos. My lecture notes and my lecture videos. This is my way of ensuring that you're actually taking the class. What's the class? Mostly the class is my lecture notes and my lecture videos. So this is not an internet research project. This is not absolutely positively generative AI, ChatGPT, or any similar generative AI. This is not a place where you offer me something that a computer wrote. I don't care if you are worried about your writing skills. I don't care if you're worried about your grammar. I want to hear from you. What is your reaction to the material? And this material literally is about the earth. It's about the world around us. It's about everyday things. So what I basically say is question, comment, or connection. 3 things: question, comment, or connection. And I want a question. I want a well-developed question. Like, why are you asking me that question after you've read through? And you can do all of these. You can do one of these and expand it. You can do 2 of these, but it needs to be, it says right here, 3 or 4 adult level, college level sentences. And again, did I say before? I don't want you to tell me what you learned. This is not a summary of what you learned. This is your reaction. Maybe you have a comment that was weird, that was unusual, that was mind-blowing. Then tell me why. If it was surprising, let's say you thought something was surprising, then in your brain, you must have thought something else. Then tell me, what is it surprising compared to what you thought it was going to be? Again, you're giving me your own personal reaction or a connection to something else in your life. Maybe you saw something on Netflix. Maybe you went camping. Maybe you went traveling. Maybe you read a book. Maybe you saw something on Instagram. It could be a million things. Connect your outside life to this class in some way and tell me about it. And one of the other things is I need to see multiple very specific connections to things from my lecture notes and my lecture videos. So I need to know. You need to give me evidence during the discussion that you have gone through my lecture notes and my lecture videos by making very specific references to my lecture notes and my lecture videos. That's what a discussion is. 7 points, you'll get a full score if you simply do that. But if you pick tiny thing within a sea of a whole chunk of notes, and you comment on that, then that tells me maybe you only looked at that one isolated little thing. So I need I need a variety of bits of evidence from throughout the lecture notes and the lecture videos. Now that said, of course, you don't have to your comment doesn't have to touch on every single thing from that entire module, but you get the point. And I try to be very gentle when I grade the first set. I will try to be excuse me, I'll try to give you as much grace on the early grading. I will try to give you as much advice and point out what things I need you to do better. So keep that in mind. There are homeworks, and they're all right there in the modules. There's a whole folder, a whole module for each homework, and you just start at the top, you read the directions. It has all of the resources that you need, and here's the homeworks. Um, yeah, you need to read about those. Weekly check-in quizzes. These are extra credit, but they are required. And if you skip them, then you will get a deduction of 2 points. So this is basically answering some questions about how it's going. What are your perceptions? It's not that hard. I like feedback. I get feedback. One of them is completely anonymous. So you will have one of the 4 opportunities for these weekly check-ins to actually tell me, without me knowing who it is, what your thoughts, concerns are about the class. But if you do this, that's 12 extra credit points. That's like several percentage points for the class. So, but again, if you skip them, you will get an automatic 2 point deduction. So please keep that in mind. And these will pop up. I'll try to make them clear to you. Late assignment policy. I accept everything till the class is over. In fact, I will accept it until Monday, July 7th. And that's pretty generous. But there'll be a 5% deduction per day with a maximum of 30% deduction. So on a 10-point homework, you can still get 7 points. That's pretty darn good. I don't want the whole class to take advantage of me and wait till Monday, July 7th, but I am giving people that opportunity. And by the way, if you do simply wait, you will not have enough time to turn in quality work. And the best you can do is maybe a C in my class, and I want you to do better than that. Okay, so start caring about your grade from day one. I'm going to give you the next letter, by the way, while I'm thinking of it. The second letter in the code that you will need, write this down, is the letter B for beautiful, B for banana, the letter B. All right. So the other great thing, I think it's great, is that I will not use late points to give anyone a D or an F. Okay. In other words, if you're close enough to a C, where I take away the late penalty points and it will bump you into the passing C range, then I will give you a C in my class. So, but I won't do that for people who want a B. I won't do that for people who want an A. If you want a B or an A, work for it. Okay. And then a lot of fine print. You should read it. I have once again said that this class is worth about 40 hours per week. If you take a college class in only 4 weeks, and because it's accelerated, that means you are literally a full-time college student for that 4 weeks. You say, Professor, I'm only taking one class. You are taking one class that is sped up 4 times faster than a normal class. Please keep this in mind. I've had students tell me, yeah, I'm taking 3 other classes and I'm working full time and I got a family. You should rethink your choices if you're doing that. Please, please, please. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm not going to tell you what to do and what not to do, but I need to stress that this is a lot more work than some people initially think. So lots of fine print. You need to read about it. Again, under cheating and plagiarism, there's a lot of detail, and that includes submitting any work generated by AI as your own. Any discussions generated by AI, that is unacceptable. That will be at minimum met with a 0, or it will refer you to the college dean of student discipline. I don't want to do that, but I am telling you that part of your learning process is going through and synthesizing the material and writing about it in your own words. So you are literally essentially skipping class by throwing prompts into ChatGPT or other AI. So I'm just letting you know. And again, let me stress, for those discussions, I have created an entire class, lecture videos, lecture notes. If you just take a few keywords and you go try to Google them and give me information, you're once again, you're not doing what I've asked you to do. This is not an outside research. There may be some opportunity for outside research, but this is not an activity where a bunch of outside research is expected. Okay, so lots more information. You're going to read about it. If you find yourself liking this class, let me know. I love to work with students about careers. I love to work with students about going on and majoring in geography. I've sent students to get bachelor's and master's and PhDs in geography and related disciplines. And there are job opportunities. So please connect with me. And then finally, this schedule on the last page, this is super, super important. In fact, before I go to that, I'm going to give you the third letter. The third letter in the code, these are all capitalized, is U as in umbrella. U as in unbelievable that this class is so great. The letter U. Okay, this is a perfect summary of everything that is that is assigned to you in this class. Generally, I will try to open things up at least by these dates over on the left. If not earlier, I'll generally probably open up Unit 1, which is week 1, all at the same time, so you can work ahead if you want. So the thing I'm going to focus on in a minute is wherever you see this type of terminology here, Unit 1, Mod 1, Unit 1, Mod 2, and so forth. That refers to a folder in the modules where you open it up and you have to work through everything in that module. These are the readings. You can do them whenever. You can do them beforehand, after. Again, I'll show you a few more things on when we get to modules. And these are the due dates. Literally, if you need to use these checkoff boxes, quiz and discussion, that's what these two boxes are for, then please do that. And then at the end, you see there's a checkoff box for the check-in quiz number 1. There are the checkoff boxes for a map quiz. That's pretty self-explanatory. You'll see that right there in modules. You check it off, check it off. If I were you, I would print this page physically as a piece of paper and physically check it off if that's what you need to do. I think that might be the best strategy. Certainly for some people it is. Again, this page right here is a perfect summary of everything you need to do with this class. And then, of course, at the end of every week, there's an exam. And those exams are explained in their own modules, in their own little folders. There will be some very brief essays that don't require long, beautifully developed paragraphs, just bullet points you just need to answer. And these essays are all given to you beforehand. They're embedded in the lecture notes. At the very end, there's a summary of sample questions and sample essays. So you're given these in advance. You should prepare for all of them in advance. But again, the modules about these exams explain what to prepare with and how to prepare. Yeah. This is, again, here's a summary of all the due dates. And then let me jump back over to Canvas and let me go to modules. And literally, here is everything you need. This first module is the orientation that you're working through right now. You've got to go in order. And you're noticing that sometimes it says mark done. I really only use that here in this orientation module. But here's generally the check-in quizzes will be found near the top. At least for the first week, I'll leave this module here with general information about the class, including a thing on academic integrity and honesty. Textbook information here is a very detailed module with all kinds of textbook information. You can rent them from the library. You can digital check out from the ARC library. Here is literally a PDF of the first and second chapters of the 9th edition. So if you can get access to those immediately through PDFs right there. And then if you're using an 8th edition or a 7th edition or a 6th edition, here are the pages that you would read. So again, these modules, I'll move them away later, but I leave them toward the top, at least at the beginning. And then you have the instructional modules, okay? And I'm looking at my time. I'm gonna just briefly mention what's in each of these. There's 2 versions of the lecture notes. which, by the way, once you finish the orientation, you'll find out I make a printed copy of my entire lecture notes available to you if you want to come by the American River College science office. And there will be an explanation of where to get that information. It'll be right here, free printed lecture notes, right there in the orientation module, has all the information. I recommend that you do it. But what I'm saying is there'll be a section of lecture notes in PDF, and then the same exact thing in Microsoft Word. And then there will be sometimes, in this case, it's just a handout, but then there will be video lectures. And you have to go through these in order. You have to go through these in order. One unlocks the other, unlocks the other, unlocks the other. So then there's a page. So video lectures look like this. I will know who's watching what. Usually there's 3 or 4 of them. I try not to make them too long. And then you can just use the buttons at the bottom, next, 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 to take you to the different items. And then eventually you'll get to the quiz. And what did I say about the quiz? I keep the highest score, but you have to get at least 4 out of 5 to unlock and get to the discussion. So you'll never get to the discussion if you don't take the quiz and get at least 4 out of 5. I show you your responses. You can use your notes. You can use whatever you need, but you do have to learn it well enough to go get at least 4 out of 5 on the quizzes. So I'm hoping that nobody asks me, Professor, why can't I get to the discussion? Because I'm going to have to tell you exactly what I'm telling you right now. So those quizzes, by the way, the moment you get to at least 4 out of 5, I wouldn't just quit taking it because later that is the quiz that's going to help you do well on the exam. So if it says exam 1 mini quiz, those are the quizzes. There's 5 of them that are going to really help you knock exam 1 out of the park. And here's a module about careers in geography. So yeah, the big thing is these modules, Unit 1, Module 2, if they're formatted like that, that's the meat of the class. You got to go through those. I think the perfect thing to do is watch these video lectures with the notes sitting in your hand because you went to American River College and you picked up a copy. But if you want, you can just print them out. It's the same thing that you have linked right there. Video extras, I don't think I mentioned this. Video extras is simply a page that has all kinds of additional material that I didn't have time really to share with you. So keep that in mind. You don't have to watch these. I have thrown in a few videos of me telling longer form stories that maybe kind of peripherally relate. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're dramatic. You decide what you have time for. So again, you see these terms are exactly what you find on this schedule page. So that's really important. And then you'll see thrown in this case, during the week 1, a map quiz 1 and a homework. Where are they? You'll find them right there. Map quiz. It's explained. So read that. Where do you find the homework? A little further down. Read that. Okay. So everything that you need will be right there, top down. I'll generally try to put things in order. And then if you have skipped them and gone past the due date, I will put them below this line. Attention, work below this line is now late, but can still be completed with a small penalty. So you can read the late assignment policy right there. So yeah, I try to go, I want your success. That's what I want. So you can scroll down. I haven't published anything further, so you shouldn't see any of this stuff that I'm scrolling to. But again, if you ever have questions, you should let me know. The next letter, by the way, is the letter Z as in zoo, where they keep animals. The letter Z as in zoo, Z as in zipper, the letter Z. All right, we're just about to wrap the whole thing up. I'm looking at my notes. I'm sure there's something I forgot, but you have all the information you need right here within this Canvas page, within the syllabus. This is your responsibility to read and to familiarize yourself with and to connect with me. I will tell you that I believe on Thursday, you'll be getting some announcements periodically, and I believe on Thursday you will receive an announcement, or at some point early in the week, you'll receive an announcement about some meet and greets over Zoom. That's Thursday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. of the first week. And I'll give you the Zoom link. It's right there. You just click on it and I'll be at the other end. And, we're just going to connect for 10, 15 minutes. Says 30 minutes, but probably won't be that long. So keep that in mind. The first week, Thursday at 10 a.m. and again at 5 p.m. It's optional, but, it's suggested. So, again, there's more that I wanted to go over, but I don't want to keep you any longer. And, I just want to say that I am here for your success. Truly, truly, you should reach out. Um, and if nothing else, my message to you is please start caring now. Please start caring day one. The worst thing you can do is start caring toward the end of the fourth week, because there won't be any time to really make a big impact. So hit the ground running and make this a strong, strong showing and reach out to me if you have any concerns whatsoever. There's one more code letter to finish the five-letter code, and that is the letter H, as in it's going to be today. H, as in hello. Let's get started on this class, the letter H. All right. Again, my name is Professor John Aubert. I wish you all the luck in the world, and please reach out to me if you need anything. All right. Take care.